a sec. Let me get my device so you can hear me. So I thought it is now daytime. This is the perfect day I've been waiting for, hence why you haven't seen my craft space as of yet. I thought I'd show you my space. So this is my table. It is quite a big craft space, and I'll run through what is on my table and where I sort of got things from. Mainly of the things that I do have in my room have either come from like Facebook Marketplace, which is like Gumtree almost, places like that, like the charity shop, things like that. I tend to sort of look out to see what I can get for hardly anything. So my corner table, this is the corner table that started all my room off. This corner table, it is quite big. It's big in length from corner to corner, and it's actually big in length from straight point to the back of the table as well. So you'll have to forgive all the shaking. This corner table actually came from Facebook Marketplace. Now, for those that aren't sure what I'm going on about, if you go onto Facebook, you have sort of three little things at the top. It's the middle one, and it almost looks like two little pictures. If you click on that, it takes you to Facebook Marketplace in your area. So it wouldn't bring me up things like in the USA or stuff like that. It would bring me up things that are in the UK, and you can actually narrow it down in your area where you live. The corner table, now the corner table I didn't measure out for. I saw a post on Facebook. I didn't measure it out for at all. I didn't even know it would fit. And I messaged the lady on the Monday, on the Sunday night, rather. And then she said, you can have it as long as you can come and pick it up tomorrow, which was the Monday. And I was like, she said, it's really big. It takes 2 people to lift it, and you will need 2 people to sort of lift it out. And she said, I hope you got a big car. So she gave me the measurements, and the only thing I measured was it fitting in the car. After that, I didn't measure nothing. I didn't even know it would fit, nothing. So I was like, 2 people. Now, for those that don't know, I am in a wheelchair. So I would be no use. I actually would be in the way for somebody lifting this table. So I was like, I know who to call. Mrs. G, who is Rian. I texted her, I said, what are you doing tomorrow by any chance? And she went, nothing. Steve's off tomorrow. I said, oh, Steve's off. Oh, well, I got a little favour to ask. Now, Steve is Rian's husband. So they I ran the story through on the Sunday night, and I said, well, the plus and the downside is I've got to go and pick it up tomorrow. She went, all right, where is it? I said, I actually don't know. I haven't found that far back out yet. She went, does it fit in your room? I said, I don't know. I haven't measured it. So when we went to pick this up, this came from a street away from us, which I didn't know at the time. And Steve and Chris brought it out of the house, and they just stopped and they just looked at me and went, what's the matter? I said, they're just looking at me as if to say it's not going to fit in the car. And I was going, it does fit in the car. It's the only thing I've measured. So Chris put it together. So thank you, Mrs. G and Mr. G, for helping me helping me get this table. Now, I didn't realize at the time the table actually comes with a chest of drawers. So I'll run through what I keep on the top drawer. So in the top drawer, I have all my glues, I have my bonder web, my interfacing, a cloth. Gonna lose my device. There we go. A cloth, and I also have, dig down deep, my artist pens too. So I tend to keep things that I know that I'm going to reach out for, like sprays, my glues, that kind of thing. In the second drawer down are all my projects I'm working on. So I've got all the patterns for the group. I've got some journals that I've been working on. that I will come to. I've also got like different projects underneath that I haven't finished, but I've sort of been doing, but I haven't finished them. Like a pillowcase that I did on a live once. It was like brick blocks. Haven't finished it, so I posted it there. So yeah, those are all my fabric projects that are not swaps, that I'm sort of working on in between doing everything else. Then the third drawer is quite deep. It's really deep, in fact. The third drawer actually comes out quite wide, and I keep all my paints, my brushes, my papers. What else do I keep in here? All different things. My tray, my new tray is kept in there. My circle cutter, because it's a pain in the bum because it's quite big. Just, it's really deep, and I keep everything in there. My chalk pens, my pencils, that sort of thing. So they're all together, because I used to keep them in the cupboard. I used to. And I was forgetting that they were there. And then when I wanted my watercolours, I was actually buying more, because I was forgetting that they were there. So I will run through the drawers in another video. I am going to be doing it this week. I know I've kept promising and promising and promising to show you all this, but life's just generally got in the way. But Mr. Heath, yes, he's showing everybody his new toy. Heath, can I have it, please? Heath, I'll see you then. Heath, you going to show everybody your new toy? He usually lies behind me, so I've got two companions when I craft. I have Heath, and then I have Mrs. Rosie. Mrs. Rosie usually hides underneath her. Now, I have bought her a bed, but I asked Chris to put some bags in here that were full of wool, and he sort of shoved them underneath the table, and they're on top of her bed, so she's not happy with me at the minute. So those boxes there, those are those parcels there have something to do with the swap. The bottom box is my fabric. It's massive. As you all know, I love to sew and use my fabric, so I keep all my fabric, big pieces, my meter pieces that I buy, in one separate box. The top box I actually made fairly recently, and it's full of wool, because I learned to crochet about a year ago, so I keep all my wool together. That box there, this one, is all my diamond painting that the lovely Miss Shirley sent me, so I keep all that separate too. And then there's another box under there that's got all my Christmas stuff in, like all my Christmas decorations, which I'll be getting out very soon. So I keep that separate, because this Christmas only comes around once a year, and it's something that you're not crafting with every day of the year, so I sort of keep it under there. So the jewelry box, which behind the eye you'll see, and that set of drawers, and I think I run through the little baskets on the top. I ran through that on the beginning of my live show about 2 weeks ago. So I tend to keep, if I move this, I buy little jars, and I tend to keep little things in there like flowers, buttons, sequins, that sort of thing. There's 3 drawers that I haven't decorated, so it hasn't been finished, but apart from that, it's finished. And I painted it, I chalk painted it, I put lace on it, doiled it up and whatnot. And then the other side, which is this side, I have some binding that the lovely Miss Angie made me. I have some pictures just on the side, but because I want to show you other things today, that's why I'm just sort of speaking to you and not showing you. The top, that basket was supposed to be anything I wanted from my lace poles behind me. I was going to bring over in that basket and I can put back, but it's sort of become a basket that I sort of throw things in. I just really need to sit and sort it out. That little pot there is what the lovely Sharon made me. It's absolutely gorgeous. In fact, let me show you. This is what it looks like. Ooh. It's gorgeous. So I keep all my vintage laces in there, my special laces, anything that I've bought vintage wise, or if you've sent me any vintage laces, it goes in there. Oh, like I say, you'll have to forgive the shaking. So my next thing I want to talk about is this drawer. Now this drawer is, the bottom drawer is full of my spools. It's usually tidier than this, but because I sort of bring one out, chuck one in, bring one out, chuck one in, that's why it's like it is. I'm quite a messy crafter. I will say that everything I'm showing you is quite, even though it's got a place, it's quite disorganized. I'm not a tidy crafter at all. In this drawer I have my fabric weights. I have, now these you can buy from Amazon, and what they are is you can buy them for different machines. So I have one for my electric machine and one for my manual machine, and what they are spools specifically for your machine. So you can buy ones for a Brother machine, Singer, Germain, whatever, and they actually come with the thread already on them. And so they're little storage compartments, and they're not that expensive at all, and they're so handy. And you can get different sizes. This one, the lids come off, so you can see they just snugly fit in the little casings. Isn't that cool? So I'm saying it's cool, it might not be cool. So in this drawer we have all my different feet. Now I buy a little storage box and I keep my feet in there. As some of you may be aware, with a sewing machine, it's not just one foot you use for everything. You have different feet for different things. So for example, on my machine, this foot here, I'm about to show you, is my quarter foot. See where the red lines are on the actual foot? That is to tell me when I'm sewing that is a quarter of an inch. So that's a quarter foot. That's what I think that's what it's called. But that, again, different feet, you can buy different things. So in this box we have pins, we have paper. When I'm changing my needle, I always put paper under the needle so the needle don't drop down to the bobbin, because if it does, you're in a right kerfuffle trying to put it all right. I have elastics, more bobbins, more, and little fabric weight here, just different things. So that's what's in this drawer. The top drawer, the top drawer has got all my needles in. So I keep my needles, yes, they come in like a little box, but I keep them in a bag because the needles tend to come out of the box that they come in. Universal, Cash, lovely, I did comment, so now I can sort of tell you through video. A universal needle means basically it will do any machine, and if you are learning on a machine, or if you're not, if you're just doing basics, a universal needle will do basic stitchings. So like it will stitch through paper and it will give you the straight stitch, and it will just give you the basic sewing. So if you ever wanted to buy needles for your machine and you're sort of just learning or starting off, universal needles are the best thing to go for. Now the numbers on the box indicates, I believe, how thick the needle is, the tip of the needle, and 90 is usually what I tend to use when I'm doing. So if I'm only just sort of stitching through cotton, I'll tend to put a 70 in. So it just depends on what thick fabric you're putting in and how thick your piece that you're sewing is. So yeah, universal needles are brilliant. I have a box to put old blades and sewing needles in. I have animals, so I'm always sort of aware that if a needle's putting in their foot or anything, and if I'm dropping pins. So if there's any needles that are broken, I put them in here, and then once a month I will empty the box and I would dispose of them correctly. So I'll wrap them up in paper and I'll pop them in a bag and then in another bag, just so that the animals don't hurt themselves. So I always keep my used needles in a box. These are my great grandmother's pins, sewing pins. And then in this one I've got elastic, jute, embroidery needles I even keep in here. Just different things. An embroidery cutter. This is really cool because it's got a little torch on it, and it's got a little cutter here, and you put, it's really cool. If you're hand sewing, it's a cool thing to have. So that's basically what's in the top drawer. In the heart box, Shilpa made this and she was selling kits at the time, so I've started to use this to put my fabric pictures in. I used to tend to keep my fabric pictures in an envelope, but I found they were getting creased. So if I just show you one, they were getting creased. So it figured if I laid them flat in here, then they won't get creased. So I bought a couple of things from Shilpa, but underneath all that is more things. And I've also got some crochet pieces that were in a kit. Marlo made these. It was Gracie's Place. And I've got a, what they call it? Oh, what they call it? I can't think. Boho charm, sort of half done. So different things. Oh, and I have in here, this is what the lovely Miss Rian made. And I've popped one of these on my jar in my jewellery box. Isn't it gorgeous? She does such tight stitching. I love them. So that's what's in there. So I've got to figure out now what time we're on, because I don't want to bore you half to death. Right, so we've got different images in there, and I tend to keep everything sort of in one spot, if that makes any sort of sense. So that's that. Now behind there is my board. Now that board is actually made and designed to go in a shed for a man. The holes on it, it's a three-way thing, so it's supposed to open like a cupboard. I haven't put the two, connected the two, I just put the one up. The holes on it is basically where you put the screws in, and then you can hang anything you want from the screws. So I'm hoping the other one just there, but I'm waiting to get a few more bits and pieces. So yeah, so that's that. So I have my computer, I have my webcam. Now my webcam, there's a bit of a story to my webcam. Because of it being a corner table, I used to have a clamp. The clamped on the edge of the table, and then I was able to move it. With it being a corner table, and because it's so wide, I was like, well, how do I connect my webcam? Because sometimes I do face-on videos, sometimes I show you my sewing, sometimes I do watercolor. How do I show you all that from the back of the table? The webcam wasn't coming up, wasn't coming over far enough. So what I had Chris to do in my brand new table was to make a hole in the table for the webcam to fit in, and that way I'm able to move it around. And yeah, that's where I put my webcam. The little things on my table now, my iron, I tend to keep this side. I just moved it for you guys. Now, I have a tendency to leave the iron on. So I figured if it was this side, I knew it was off. If it was in the middle of this side, then it's on. And that's the only way at the moment I'm remembering to keep it. Most of you have showed me a cup with all your little bits and pieces in. I keep the same thing. I do the same thing. I have a little cup that holds all my scissors, my pens, my lint roll. I have the same thing for that purpose. I also have a couple of smellies on my desk. I have a little tray that's just got bits and pieces in, really. It's got, what has it got on? Miniatures on there. It's got my bow maker on there that I just dolled up. I've got a lot of tape measures. just different things, different little things that I don't want to put away. I have my jar that I decorated here. That's just got different things in it as well. And I've started to keep my little brushes in a little pouch so I know where they are, because little brushes tend for me to go missing, so I keep them in there. And this was my very first video. So this is oh yeah, you can see it. This has got dragonflies on. Now this was the very first video I did, and I'm gonna have to do another one. I've got the stuff in the cupboard to do it actually, so yeah, I'm gonna have to do another one because I really enjoy doing it. And because it was my very first video, that jar doesn't go anywhere. I get to keep it and put it on my desk. So oops. So there's that. I also have my Alexa. Don't want to say her name because she'll start talking to me. I have my pin cushion that I made. These little jars have just come in from Shilpa's kit, and I am keeping them on my desk because, you know, little bits and pieces. My basket, I hold all my scraps. I have a bag that Angie made me to keep my scraps in, so I tend to pick that if I'm going in the living room to make something with, but more often than not I keep all my scraps now in there. On this side of my table I have, of course, all the prizes, which I was pleased to hear that you all really liked the prizes and how I've put things together, so thank you so much for that. And please don't worry if you haven't seen your name on the book. After I done the video, I realised I missed a couple of you out, and that was just because I'd watched your videos, but I'd forgotten to write your name down in the book. So your name is on the book. I promise you. I'm going to show you at the end of the video who's on the book and let you know basically if I've missed anyone else. I'm hoping I haven't, but yes, that's as far as I go. So this little unit came from HomeSense. I keep different things in here. So my top drawer has got my crocodiles, my favourite inks. If I move this out the way, my favourite inks, my corner scissors, my calligraphy pens, all different things. I keep in there, and the lovely Mrs. G gave me those crocodile things to make tags with. In the bottom, wait a second. Okay, so in the bottom I have a little star dish that the lovely Siobhan made me. So Siobhan, if you're watching, hello sweetheart. I keep all my little bits and pieces in there, and it's just different things, and I keep meaning to do a video with these. I haven't done much video with it, but yeah, keep watching. You never know, one of these days I might actually do what I say I was going to do. So on this side I have my stamping blocks, my mat to get used for my die cutting, my ruler, my cooker liner, which is really good if you're painting or if you're ironing. It's really good. There's a couple of like hints and tips where a cooker liner can come in handy. On this top I have my calligraphy inks, my stamp. This has actually got like a little date stamp on it, so you can adjust the dates for it. The hoop, I am hand embroidering that, and that's got a flower on there, some hand embroidering that. And then this little doodah. This box was gifted to me and made by the lovely Mrs. G, and I've started to use it to put my little things in that I've made. Just little things in, like hand crochet flowers. So if I want something little to go with my happy mail, all I have to do is reach for this box, and that's what I've been using it for. So, and in fact I was thinking about putting some flower on the top of it because I keep all the flowers separate as well, so I know who's made what. Now on the back, Cash, can you see your box? Now Cash's box sits directly there. What's in it, you hear? Well, in there are all the laces and the trims that you guys sent me. I was forgetting to use them. They were either put into bags the way you've sent them to me, or the loaded hoop, or wherever you've put them, and I wasn't using them. And I thought, you've sent them to me to use, so why don't I start using them? So what I've done is I've put all those like little trims and laces and all the different things you've sent me to use in my projects. I've put it in Cash's box, and it sits on the windowsill perfectly. So on that side we have all my pens, my pencils, my watercolor pens. It's all in that box, and Cash has definitely given me inspiration to decorate that box and that box, because yeah, I want it looking all pretty. The middle thing is a chest. Now I need to, again, it's just a project on my list of things to do, but that chest needs altering. It's got things in I'm not using, so I thought, hey, why not start using it? Shirley made me the lovely bird cage that sits there. I had that off the lovely, I want to say Lisa. I want to say Lisa, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong with the name. The fan I went off the lovely Shaz. Hi Shaz, sweetheart. Hangs up there for inspiration. And what else did I want to show you that someone's made me? Can I see? No, that was it as far as this area goes. So again, I have my heart candle set. Again, this is surprises. So here, the pink folder, I keep all my dies in. I tend to keep all my dies in that folder. The folder's actually getting really, really, really big, to the point where I can't keep any more dies in. So I tend to keep the dies in. The other thing I wanted to show you was this basket, who the lovely Mrs. Dee made for my Easter swap, and she put loads of little goodies in there and all sorts in there, so I am using that for the group. I can't show you what's in there because it's stuff to do with the group, but please know, Miss Dee Dee, hi sweetheart, that I am using it. So I've got all my stamps set here. Now over here we have a light up globe. I originally, a couple of months ago, wanted to get a map and pin it up on the wall. I got a map and it was too big, way too big. So the globe actually came from my mama. She bought it for my brothers. They didn't want it, and she gifted it to me. And I love it because I get to see where you all are coming from. And it does light up. Bear with me 2 seconds. Oh, I can't light it up, but I get to see where you all are and where we are and where you're all watching me from. So I love my globe. Over here are all these laces that I purchased, my laminator tool. This has got all my new fabrics in. Fabrics that I can't show you as of yet. And then underneath we have the lovely box that the lovely Belinda made me, and in my box are all my things I'm collecting to do the journal pages with. Now these things, some of the things I've made and just forgotten that I've got in. I forgot I made these and come across them the other day. I was like, Claire, why aren't you doing anything with them? So yeah, just different things I've made, a load of like pictures and all different things. Some of the things I've had gifted to me, which has been really pretty. These type of things I've loved doing. So yeah, that's what's in here. I wonder what that is. Oh, that's my gypsy page that I was playing about with. So that's what's in that box. So bear with me 2 minutes. I'm still here. I'll go blank a minute. Right, okay, I'm back. Right, so we have a jar full of scraps. I like my scraps. And in here, I'm not quite sure what we got. What have we got? Oh, in here are die cuts that I've cut out. I don't know what they're doing in there. They should be in my die cut folder, but needless to say, I know where they are now. So that's what's over here basically. And these 2 boxes I am not as of yet using, but I am going to keep one for my die cuts. So when I'm cutting shapes out, I'm feeling uninspired, I'm going to be cutting shapes out and keeping them in a box. Over here, that's where the roll went. In here we have bows. We have all my old camera case, my lovely notepad that lovely Miss Paisley made me, and the bead box that lovely Miss Paisley made me. And that's what I keep in this box. And that's all I keep in this box really. So I think you've seen it all. Oh, these are my new dies. This is my new set, my die set, and the butterflies and the bodice cuts out, and then I've got the die set for that. My mini cutting press, the tablecloth, you might have noticed the runner over there, actually came from Paphos when we went on holiday. And then I keep my big shot. Oops, I keep my big shot here where I'm able to get at it and do what I need to do. So that is my crafting space. And I often get asked about the lighting. Now my lighting, I have one there and I have one just there. The lighting, I don't know where Chris got it from, but he bought them last year for Christmas. And you can buy them one on its own, or you can buy them 2. It's up to you. But what they are to do, I've got mine pointing to the table. They bounce the light off the table and then they bounce the light back up into the camera. So they're really good lighting to do if you're filming. So yeah, that's my crafting space. So now you've seen it all. I am going to be talking through my drawers, and I'm also going to be speaking another video about what I've got over this side of the room. And I know you guys have been like, we're stuck at the top of the cupboard. I need to show you what I've got on the top of the cupboard. For now, my lovely loaded hoop that the lovely Carol made me. Before now, you have my crafting space. So this is where it all happens. So thank you for everyone that was participating in my challenge. I'm going to take a photo of the book and I'm going to pop it at the end of the video. And if your name is still not on the book, send me a massive nudge and say, why is my name not on the book? But hopefully I've got you all. And I will see you all in my next video. Please keep watching. I have so much to tell you. Exciting news coming up. I can't yet reveal. It's killing me not to do it. I can't even give those that are on the group a sneak peek. Not until about 2.5 weeks. I know it sounds stupid, but it's really exciting news. But I can't tell you just yet. You'll have to keep waiting. It's gonna kill me not to tell you, but I'm gonna try my very best to keep it a secret. So yeah, I hope you really like my crafting space. I'm absolutely loving watching all your crafting space, and I love your ideas you're giving on how you keep your items and where you keep them, and the inspiration where you buy in your storage stuff. You're filling me with lots of inspiration. So yeah, if you have not shared my video, keep sharing it. You have an extra entry if you share my video on whether that be on Facebook, or you just do a separate share video on YouTube. It's totally up to you. But yeah, thank you so much for everybody that participated in my challenge. It's still running till the 2nd of December, and I will speak to you all very soon. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.